What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Flyin podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Mitchell, back with my co-host, Stephen Maslij. Say what's up, Steve.
What's up, Matthew?
We are coming back to you guys with another huge win for the Philadelphia Eagles. Win over the Bucks in Tampa. Maz, give me your initial thoughts. What did you think?
I mean, it's a win is a win, right? The first half, we're going into halftime, and it's a good 24-6. They had to make a 65-yard field goal even to get to that 6-point mark. Our defense played great. Another block kick that we returned for a touchdown to start the game off. Little creativity by Kevin Petula in the red zone for Dallas Goedert to get 2 touchdowns. It was looking good. I mean, we weren't necessarily going in ballistic on offense. But, in the second half, we decided to crumble up in the ball again and say, let's just, we're up. Let's just, just punt on third down, essentially, is what it felt like. And let Baker and the Bucks all the way back in the game. It was kind of brutal. I mean, big play by Darius Campbell at the it's Jahad Campbell. I'm a silly idiot. At the end to get the interception off Baker. Another one in the red zone, which it seems like I think we've had every single week now. Rams throw an interception in the end zone? No. But yeah, it's kind of where the defense came up big, and we had 200 yards total offense on the game, and for that to happen, it's pretty atrocious. And Jalen only threw for 130 yards. And then we'll get into all the other fun stuff because, we'd like to send cryptic things on Twitter and everything. So I'll just leave you with that cryptic thing. Nobody wants to hear
there's
anyway,
plenty
right?
to talk about. There was a lot going on. It was the complete inverse of the Rams game last week, and another tale of two halves, a tale of inconsistency, and another week of predictable play calling. Outside of that beginning, like you said, they were trying to mix it up with the play calling a little bit in the beginning. You saw the alternative tush push. You saw the shovel pass, which we don't usually see. They're trying to get Dallas Goedert involved. It was despite the lack of getting to him, which we'll get into, they were clearly trying to get to A.J. Brown more often as well. They're hearing things, but they're still not clicking, and there's a lot of reasons for that. The run game isn't there. The pass game isn't there. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But first, let's start with our Around the League and talk about what we saw this week among some of the other teams around the league. So what kind of things did you see this week that stood out to you, Maz?
There's a lot of injuries happening, but let's start off with another undefeated team going down, the Los Angeles Chargers losing to the Giants, and Jackson Dart taking over that job for the Giants. Not particularly having a great statistical day. I think he only had 111 passing yards, and Malik Neighbors is out for the season. But they still got that win, which was kind of unexpected. Nice change of scenery for the Giants. Congratulations to you. You still are going to be booty cheeks this year. Cam Scadaboo is actually good at football. The Rams-Colts game was one of the best games of the week. The Rams should have lost that game, essentially, but the Colts just couldn't get out of their own way. Holding penalty on Adonde Mitchell, and then Adonde Mitchell dropping the ball out of the end zone. I'm saying his name wrong, but it's whatever it is. Mitchell,
Adonai.
You are the Adonai. I always say it wrong. I always said Adonde his entire career at Texas too. I always knew that, the worst part. He actually lost the game.
You always have been.
He lost the game for the Colts. The Chiefs blew out the Ravens. Lamar got hurt. That wasn't the reason they lost, though. They were already had a huge lead before Lamar went out of the game. Lions just beat the crap out of people. It would be so nice just to win a game and be like, oh, kick your feet back during the fourth quarter and be like, yeah, that was a good one. It's real nice. Not the Eagles.
Yeah, it would be nice. The Eagles are strangely one of the most inconsistent teams I've ever seen in my life, and it is very weird to have that much talent and not be able to put it together week to week. And I'm running low on answers for it because there's so many different things that it could be, and there's so much speculation out in the air, especially in the Philadelphia media, and it's so hard to just pinpoint what the exact problem is. And to me, the only thing I can say right now to, back up the Eagles is that they have those games, or they had those games going into the Super Bowl. The NFC Championship and the Super Bowl were the most laid back games we had all year, which was absolutely insane. But if they can do that again, I'll be happy. But for the time being, it's another year of holding your chest for 3 quarters and then 3.5 quarters, and then in the last minute getting a nice little woo, So it's definitely been interesting seeing, like, comparing and contrasting the Eagles to other teams around the league, especially when you see guys like Daniel Jones, going over to the Colts and seeing them have success in the passing game after, the kind of career that he's had. And guys like Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and guys that notoriously, had fallen off and where they're supposed to be, really made a comeback and got their presence back and have been successful in the passing game. Whether their teams are successful or not, I can't attest to, but the passing game itself is definitely there. And I've seen Jalen play football. I've seen those guys play football. I promise you Jalen's better. I know he is. And I think he's better at throwing the football. I think he's better at leading a team. I think he's better on his feet. I think he's better in decision making. But there's still that if factor of whatever the heck is going on with this offense, whether it's his relationship with AJ, whether it's Kevin Patullo or Nick Sirianni's play calling, whether it's just not being on the same page, whether it's the offensive line, whether it's the run game not going. There's so many different factors that can go into why. So, we unfortunately just have to keep putting our magnifying glass over our eye and trying to figure out if there's like a bigger key to what's going on for the time being. But it sucks kind of that, week to week we have to kind of just sit here and wait and hope that they figure it out. And it's really cool that they're so talented that they can just keep sneaking away with it. But you can't be the sub 15, in rushing offense and sub 30 in passing offense and win, like, consistently. I feel like last year it was one thing to say that you can't keep this up, but you had Saquon, who was, a 2,000-yard rusher, and the man just kept doing it. He just kept doing his, rushing thing over and over again. I don't think you can say the same thing this year. You're not getting, production out of either side. And the fact that we keep winning really, like, is nothing short of miraculous. Like, you literally had a blocked field goal for a win. You had a rookie intercept a ball in the red zone for a win. You had, what else did we have in the, you had CeeDee Lamb drop a touchdown. You are kind of getting
Travis Kelce
semi-miraculous wins. And I do understand to the extent that, you create your own luck, and luck is part of the game. And on top of that, if you don't make mistakes and you capitalize on others' mistakes, then that is how you win games. That is a winning recipe. But, man, it's hard to believe that they'll be able to keep sneaking them out like this if they keep this up. So, I do think that it's certainly nice to see that they're 4-0, and that's an improvement from where they were last year, and they won a Super Bowl last year. So, I think that to be having these woes and still be winning is huge. It's better than being 1-3 and trying to figure this out.
Like the Ravens.
Exactly. But because the Ravens are in the same boat. They were the only team I thought were just as talented as we were, and they're 1-3, and they are falling apart. And the fact that Lamar is going to be out for the foreseeable future, however long it may be, their season might be over in the next 2 weeks. We'll see. But, obviously the season can be the season. But if you start 1-5 or 1-6, man, I can't imagine you making a comeback.
No, you have to win out basically in order to
exactly.
win the division. We'll see how that all ends up. That'll shake up for fun of its own. But, to finish out the round of league real quick, the Packers-Dallas game was kind of crazy.
That was a crazy one, and it really did feel like a battle of the toddlers, which was really funny. Like, it was a great offensive battle. I'll give them that. They actually were putting up a lot of points, but it just, like, the mistakes that both teams were making were so goofballish. Am I wrong in saying that? Like, no, it just felt like they kept making the poorest mistakes in the poorest moments, and it's just like, That's Dallas through and through. Green Bay is shocking me a little bit, and my vendetta with them right now. So
yeah, I mean, it was a good game. Dak actually played pretty well, but like
Dak's been playing great. It's the defense that's screwing them, honestly.
their defense is brutal.
Dak's been a borderline, I think you could say that he's certainly been like top 7 this year.
Yeah, he's definitely been playing better than Jalen this year, and I can't I'm not saying he's better than Jalen, but
no, you can't deny it. You gotta be honest with what's going on right now, and I hate to say that I was trying to say top 7 because I'm being reluctant, but like he's been a top 5 quarterback this year, maybe even like to go as far as top 3. He might be in the MVP conversation right now.
But yeah, I mean, if their team,
we'll see if he stays there or if he can win a playoff game, because that's really where he falls apart. But
they also have to win games too instead of tying them. But
exactly,
nonetheless, the one good thing that the Eagles offense is doing that I wanted to ask you about is not turning the ball over. We have 0 turnover. Do we have any 0 interceptions?
1 turnover, but it was a fumble.
0 interceptions, right?
Yeah.
Through the first 4 games. Does that make you any bit more confident / what do you take from the stat of 1, 0 interceptions and then 2, 100% red zone efficiency of getting touchdowns, which we have not failed yet, by the way, which is
no, we have. We're 11 for 11 in the red zone, and like you said, we haven't thrown any interceptions yet. We've had 1 fumble, and winning the turnover battle, as you can see, wins you games. It doesn't really matter how poor you're playing when you can capitalize off the other team's mistakes and not lose games yourself. It makes a difference, and I think that you've seen them have success with that for the past year and a half, and that philosophy. But we, alluded to this last week. I think that you're starting to get a little bit. You're increasing the risk by staying so conservative at this point. Like, this has become what teams understand as your identity, and I don't think this is a good identity to have as an offense. Yes, you don't turn the ball over, but you also don't throw for over 150 yards almost ever. Like it's literally an anomaly when it happens, and that's astounding in this day and age in the NFL. Like it just I don't really understand what the holdup is. Like, I guess it's the fact that they are winning games still, but I've been in a football locker room before. I've been in a film session. There's no way they're looking at the film and saying, this is what we want from you. There's no way. Like, I can't imagine that's what's happening in the building. So I'm confused as to what they're going over, what they're talking about, what their focal points are, and why it looks the same every single week. They're talking about it. They're trying to fix it. They were trying to force feed AJ the ball. Clearly the wrong way, but they were trying to because they understand that people are really pissed off about this, especially AJ Brown himself. But this is deeper than that. This is I don't know what the issue is. Like, why can we not have AJ on double moves? Why can we not put him in motion? Why can we not have Jalen Hurts, a professional NFL quarterback, run a play action pass from under center? Why are things is it a comfort thing? Is it a capability thing? Is he not capable of doing that? I see him take snaps under center for the tush push, and for run plays, he seems to do fine. Is it that he can't get his eyes back around? It's getting frustrating trying to run in circles and understand where the problem lies. And simply, I think I can speak for everybody when I say we just want to see results. We want to see not results as in a win, but results as in we actively see you trying to fix the things that you're doing poorly. I feel like we walk into the week hoping for something to change and watch the same thing happen every single time.
No, it's literally insanity. Rush the ball at the middle, rush the ball at the middle, rush the ball at the middle. 3 and out. Oh, sorry, defense, get back out there. Okay. Throw it to AJ Brown. 8-yard curl. Throw it to AJ Brown, 8-yard curl. Throw it to him on a corner route that's just not a good ball anyway from Jalen. Oh, 3 and out. It's like what are we doing? You guys. I just feel like this offense is like a little kid playing Madden, going like, oh, like I have to get my numbers up with number 11 to earn this achievement, and he just keep throwing the ball at him for a little bit. Then he go, I'm never gonna get that one. Let me try to get rushing yards. And then, like, it sounds very stupid.
No, I hear you. And it's actually frustrating, especially because these are like what we consider, geniuses of their craft and, understand the ins and outs of these things better than anybody else, right? And why does it feel like every single person sitting on their couch all see the same thing? And when it does look like it's, harped on, you see the results. Like, in that last week against the Rams, you were struggling to get anything going. And then you started, force feeding AJ. And when that happened, it started opening up Devontae a little bit more. And when that happened, it started opening up Saquon a little more. When you start spreading the ball around, it starts opening things up for everybody. It just gives everybody a little more breathing room because there's it just feels like the Eagles offense is suffocating themselves. And I don't really I just don't get it. And it's especially frustrating to think that it feels like you just said like a little kid calling plays on Madden. I think a little kid calling plays on Madden would be able to win a Super Bowl with this team. And I don't know where it's getting so difficult. Do you have any more thoughts on what you think it could be, what you think the biggest problem is? Do you think it's Jalen? Do you think it's Nick? Do you think it's Patullo? Do you think it's the offensive line?
I think a lot of it could contribute to the O-line. I mean, I know we don't talk about the O-line enough because they've been so stellar for years, and we kind of give them breaks anywhere we can. But Lane being hurt, Lane is clearly hurting. Cam Jurgens' back is tight. It's kind of not obvious, but it's kind of apparent.
Everybody on the line is playing hurt right now.
They're playing apparently.
Except for Jordan Mailata.
Yeah, and it's hurting us in our run game. It's hurting us in our passing game. It's hurting us a lot, and we're not used to it at all. And we're going to get to that in the Broncos of why it could be a horrible thing, but it's our line not playing the best line in the league is affecting this offense and this team in just drastically. And it's kind of not the fact that we have to adapt to having a crap, we don't have a crap line, but we're not playing even a top 10 line right now. It's been brutal.
No, we're playing bottom 15 right now for sure.
It's been brutal. It's been real brutal, and it's got to change. And you're not going to just create health. You're not going to be like, oh, Lane, get those stingers out of your neck. Oh, Lane, and go fix your knee. That's not going to just happen overnight. We just have to also know what the situation is for them and run plays that we can use, like Mailata more, or use advantages that they're not hurting their own selves, where it feels comfortable for Lane pulling, or I don't know. It sounds stupid. I'm not trying to cater to everyone right now.
What do you think about the prospect of just sitting them for a few games, taking a hit and putting in some of the, backup O-line and just letting them get their rest? Do you think that would be worthwhile in the long run of the season to sacrifice games now for the future? Or do you think that this is something that we should just push forward with and hope that, by the time they hit the bye week, they can hopefully get enough rest to get better?
So we have our bye week 9, right? If we can get through these 2 games, we have Denver Sunday and then we have Thursday night. So we have a short week. And then we kind of have what they call the mini bye, the Thursday to next Sunday after. I think if we can get through that, if we can get through these next 2 games, that should be enough rest. It's going to be hard. I'm just saying, get through these next 2 games. We only got 2 more games after that, and then we have a bye week. So we have a mini bye. We got 2 weeks, mini bye-ish, 2 games, bye. I'm just hoping I think we can get through it. I don't see a point in sitting them at this point. It would be kind of cocky to do it against the Giants. especially the way our offense is playing. It's not like we're dominating teams anyway. I don't think putting backup. I don't even know who the backup left tackle is at this point. I thought it was Fred Johnson, but he's playing right tackle. It's prior out there. I don't know if there's better options. Is what I'm trying to say. I don't think that sitting them is the answer. I think that we just have to just march through the schedule. And I think if we, especially after these 2 games, that extended bye rest, and then the bye week 9, we'll hopefully try to cure them. Maybe give them some rest during practice. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. It's always a fine line between making sure they stay, ready to go and, well prepped, and making sure they get enough rest and making sure they're healthy. And it's definitely hard to juggle that line. But I hope that they can find as much time to rest them as they can. But I think as well as I do that when you're playing hurt, there's really never any chance to heal. So I'm growing concerned with it by the week, because I feel like it's only going to keep getting worse, and it's already bad, and it's week 4. And I'm curious if there's going to be, a turning point that kind of forces you to make a decision on whether you can give them their rest or whether you play them. And like you said, I don't think that we would be in a great spot if we did move on, let them rest a week, especially against a division rival. So I do hope that they can push through and get through this. But with the O-line playing the way they are, it's really tough to get much of anything going. I don't think that pressure is a huge deal. I know he's gotten some hits and some sacks, but I think that, not having that run game is tough. But what do you think about the prospect? And just hear the question before you get mad at me. I'm just curious what your thoughts are. What are your thoughts on the prospect of Saquon maybe losing a step this year after all the touches he had last year? Do you think that that's a possibility? Do you think that, because we've seen bad O-line play with Saquon before, and we've still seen him dominate. We played all those years with the Giants, and even their best O-line probably didn't stand up to what our O-line is doing even right now. So why do you think the run game is still stalling out as bad as it is? And do you think it has anything to do with Saquon losing a step, or, maybe still just being stiff from last year?
Personally, I think it's not a physical thing with him. I feel like he's still in his prime. He still moves similar in open space. It's just that teams are just so keen in on knowing if they can stop the run, which they didn't last year at all. There's a reason he broke 2,000 yards. There's a reason that he was a candidate for MVP at basically a lot of the season. And I can't say that he's lost a step, because I haven't seen anything that makes me when he does touch the ball, maybe he misses a few reads here and there, but I can't personally say that he's lost a step. I can't see it physically at all. I think it's more defensive adapting to exactly what our offense is doing wrong. Is we're not going to throw the ball. Let's just run it at you real quick. We can't do that anymore. And no passing game means that we literally can't open up anything. So if they want to put 8 guys in the box, it doesn't matter. If we can't open up the field, it's never going to matter. It's just how it is. They outman us, and we have to be able to open up 2 dimensions to this offense, which we have more than enough talent to do in order to get Saquon going again.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. And I think that another big factor in it is the fact that the Eagles play calling is so predictable, as we've mentioned before. When they're in the shotgun formation, they pass the ball 70% of the time. That's a large margin, right? And the other ones, it's not like you're fooling somebody on a play action in the shotgun. When you do that little fake handoff and pull it back, you're not fooling anybody with that. And on top of that, handing the ball out of shotgun, we've talked about this many times. That other 30% that's considered run, probably some are Jalen Hurts scrambles, I'm sure, and the other half are just little halfback draw plays or inside zone plays. And we talked about the fact that when you sorry, let me gather my thoughts for a second. When you start in the shotgun formation, you're starting out of motion from 5 yards behind the line and moving laterally, and you don't really get your momentum going in a formation like that. When you're under center, you're running straight downhill, getting a 5-yard head start before you even touch the ball, and going into the line with a full head of steam. There's a reason that most run plays were designed out of straight regular under center or I formation, stuff like that. It's frustrating to see that when they're in the shotgun, it's 70% of the time it's pass, and when they're in the pistol, 81% of the time it's a run. That's not rocket science for any team, and you're just giving away it's really it's frustrating just thinking about it. How easy it was as when I was a high school and college football player. We're obviously not diving into the film the way that those guys are. They have a ton of guys where it's just their job to break down the film and tell guys what they're doing wrong and how to fix it. In high school and college, you were just expected to watch that film on your own, figure out what you're doing wrong, and try to fix it. You don't got guys doing it for you, telling you what to do. I should say that I was lucky enough in college to have a great coach who broke down the film specifically play-by-play for us, and that was one of the most. I've never improved so much in a year as that year because of that, right? We would have found this out in high school. We would have noticed this within 5 minutes of watching film, that it's 80% run out of the pistol and a 70% run pass out of the shotgun. Anyone in the world can notice that. So I just don't understand where the blandness is coming from in this offense. Do you have any what are your thoughts on that? What is this blandness from?
So one thing I will say, and I'll give them the benefit out for the shotgun formation, that if we are out of the shotgun, it's majority of teams don't do 50-50 from the shotgun, I would assume. The pistol is the one that really pisses me off. That gets me really riled up because we don't. It's what do you say, 81% of the time, and then the other is probably Jalen going on scrambles. I feel like it's every time they run up a pistol. I've maybe looked away from the screen when they run a pass out of pistol. It's just brutally bad in pistol. It is so blatantly obvious that we're running, and we don't even run counter out of pistol. We don't run. We're running it's a zone. I just don't get why we can't run a trap play. I don't know why we can't run any type of counter. We can't run anything.
We have no misdirection. We have no motion. We have no changing of route concepts. We have no It's baffling to think that they're winning. That they're 4-0 with the way that they're playing. It really is shocking because. How do you explain? I just don't. I don't get it. I'm actually running my mind in circles right now because we keep coming back to the same conclusion, and me just asking how, because it just doesn't make any sense. And we've talked for years on this podcast about the fact that this team under Nick Sirianni has never been able to use plays to bounce off of each other and work in a cohesive manner. You've never seen a run play for 3 yards backed up by a play action pass under center and a bootleg rollout for 5 yards, and then I don't know, using that to run it one more time and then go over the top after that. You don't see any bounce back and forth between the plays in terms of it's supposed to be a chess match. It's supposed to be, I do this and I see what you do, and that's going to lead me to make my next move this way so that you don't see what's coming. It just doesn't feel like they've ever used plays to bounce off of each other. They just say, we're going to go out and use our game plan, and we're not going to adjust it, and we're just going to hope it works.
I'll tell you why. I know why they do that now. It all just come added up. Because our line's struggling, we used to beat speed the best O-line, maybe last year we played out of our minds at O-line. That's why Saquon did so well. So we were just we're going to run this play, stop it. That's what Sirianni's mindset is don't turn over the ball, and we have more talent. Everything last year, you see one-on-one coverage, AJ and Devontae Smith. great catches. I understand, but I think their mindset is we have more talent. Stop it when you line up this way. But like you said, we have to adapt now. We're not playing like we have these weapons. We're not playing like we have two Lamborghinis on the outside. We're really not. And when you take that away, it just makes the offense look so stagnant. And you don't use them correctly. I understand why AJ's frustrated. I really do. Because
everyone does.
It just sucks. It's like, yeah, we won, but like we're so much better. That's basically what AJ wanted to say without him having to do the cryptic crap and be angry.
It's tough watching these other teams like the Lions and, or I don't know, like even look at Dallas. Dallas goes out there and puts up huge offensive performances every week. And I know that they struggle on the defensive side. They don't win games. I get it. But why do we make it look like rocket science while all these even crappy teams are going out there and making it look easy? I just don't understand. It's like you're going out there with Lamborghinis with, flat tires. I don't understand, and it's growing increasingly frustrating, not only for fans but for the team as well, and obviously AJ. Which if we weren't running so long, I'd really want to dig into that a little bit harder. But AJ is fully he's fully justified in how angry he is. I don't appreciate the way he's handled the situation. I don't appreciate the way he runs to Twitter. I've listened to AJ speak many times, and I feel strongly that AJ is a very, very smart man. He's very intentional, and he's very understanding of what's going on around him. And I know that AJ is somebody that's dealt with mental health issues, so sometimes he has trouble, handling his emotions, and that's completely understandable too. We all deal with that. My issue is that AJ will look at the situation and do something like tweeting online, knowing exactly what that's doing. Every time he does this, he knows that he's pushing the envelope. He's creating a conversation. He knows how Philly media works, and the fact that we're going to harp on it, it's going to be talked about all week. It's going to be the only questions you hear in every single press conference, and it's going to force them to deal with the problem he wants them to deal with. Great for AJ. But for somebody as smart and understanding as AJ, it really frustrates me that he's willing to do that at the expense of the rest of the team and the rest of the city and, the overall success of this team. And I know that it's a hard line to juggle for both sides, but it is very frustrating to see that AJ can't. Like I said, I've seen him talk and justify himself. And even for things that I saw him do in the moment that I was like, what the hell, AJ? Why did you do that? Then I hear him later down the line explain himself, and I'm like, oh, you see, why didn't you just say that from the start? I understand exactly what you're saying now. He knows what he's doing. And it frustrates me that knowing what he's doing means that he's throwing the team under the bus on purpose. And I do hope that he can find, more maturity in that regard, in terms of not making it everybody else's problem. It's one thing to be AJ's problem. It's another thing for it to be the whole city's problem, let alone the team.
Yeah.
And simply AJ's got to get better with that. But once again, I don't want to dive into that too much now because we're running a little long on time. But this team's got to figure it out, because you are going to fall apart if you don't fix this now. You're gonna lose AJ. You're gonna lose Jalen. Not that you're going to lose Jalen being in the right mindset, but if you get AJ and Jalen off the same page, and if you do make it a problem between them, which slowly but surely the city is going to make that happen if we don't fix it. It's already starting. Then the whole thing's going to fall apart, and you're going to see T.O. McNabb all over again. And I know there's a lot of people that don't feel that it's getting to that point, but I've seen I'm very confident that if you let this situation keep building up for the next 2 weeks, something bad's going to happen. Promise. Something bad's going to happen. And we've talked, you can't trade him. The dead cap is too high. There's no way to move on from him or fix it this year. Not that there's a single Eagles fan in the world that would want to see AJ leave this city. I think everyone and their grandmother wants to see AJ stay for the rest of his career. And I wish AJ was aware of how much people think that and how much he means to the city and how much people just want to see him be happy, But the situation is a situation, and they got to find a way to fix it sooner than later because it will boil over. And we saw just last week that AJ let it boil over after 3 games. It took 3 games. And he admitted that he let his emotions get the best of him already. We're running out of time. Something's got to come around.
Yeah. It doesn't help that we're playing one of the best defenses in the league in the Denver Broncos, leading the NFL in sacks this year so far at 15. This Denver Broncos defense has always been stouted as awesome. They're 2-2, only losing. They beat up on Tennessee and they beat up on the Bengals last week. They lost by 1 to the Colts and 1 to the Chargers. They haven't won in the away game yet. What do you think of this Broncos team as a whole? And can we figure out our offense on its defense?
Well, they're the kind of team that this is easy to be a trap game because the way they're playing right now, they're not where they should be. I feel like they are a talented team. They don't. Oh, scratch that. They're not a super talented team. They're a very up and coming team that are going to be there soon, and they have a great defense. So you can support a decent offense with a great defense. And I think the Bo Nix is somebody that has to, get comfortable before he starts really playing at his best. And at the moment, they haven't found that comfort. I think that they're still playing a little uncomfortable, a little bit. They're not all on the same page. It just looks a little bit jumbled. And because of the fact that they don't have all that talent, I think this is a prime spot that this should be a relatively easier win for the Eagles. But again, like I said, trap game in the sense that they could kind of come around at any time. And I don't want to see the Eagles keep doing what they're doing and let them gain confidence that they shouldn't have. If you don't let this team gain confidence in the game, they're not going to win the game. But if you give them even a little bit of room and a little bit of life, I feel like they're going to make this into a really close game and maybe even pull one out on us. So, this is not something to sneeze at, but I do think that this is something that the Eagles should be able to handle. And a notable thing to look at as well is that I think that obviously we have had a lot of success against man coverage rather than zone. And I'm curious to see the way that Denver's going to run their defense this Sunday, but they run a lot. They are known for running a lot of man, and they obviously have Patrick Surtain out there, who's one of the best in the business. But we have A.J. Brown, who's also one of the best in the business. And if you are just going to run man one-on-one with our guys, I guarantee we'll beat you a couple times. So I actually think that if they try to run their man coverage the way that they usually do, we actually might be able to have a day in the air. But again, it's hard to have hope in that with the way the passing offense has looked. So I'm curious to see the way the Eagles are going to attack this, but I really hope that they, try to force favorable matchups this game. Try to move AJ and Devon. I'm dying to see somebody go in motion. Pull somebody across. Put somebody in a slot position that they are going to be against a linebacker that they're going to be. Make the defense adjust to you. Don't do the opposite. I'm sick of watching the Eagles adjust to everybody else and, let the other team dictate the way we run our offense. I want to see us go out there and create plays for ourselves, force our guys open, run different freaking route concepts because I'm sick of seeing all this, 3 route nonsense for AJ of slant, curl, or go. It sucks that Devontae is so damn quiet because we're so damn focused on AJ. I don't even know what's going on with Devontae over there or why he's not getting open. So I just want to see more consistency out of the Eagles offense this week. And I really am praying that they find a way to open up the passing game this week because I feel like you can despite going against a guy like Patrick Surtain.
Yeah. I'll be honest. If we play like we have this entire season, I think we're going to get cooked. I think this defense will take advantage of us if we play like how we started in the last. I understand how good this team can be, and you do as well. But like, and I feel like we kind of are blind to how bad we really have been playing. Like, it's been brutal. Like, our offense.
I wouldn't say blind as much as it's optimism. It's like reasoned optimism. Like, I don't think that these things are happening by mistake. Do I think that they're like 3 plays away from being 1-3? Absolutely. But they are creating their own luck. I just don't know how far that can run.
On the offensive side, it's been like I understand. Like, we think AJ is good. He has 151 yards like on a season. Like, maybe he sucks. Like, I'm just saying hold up, give me a second. I'm just saying, like, it's been disgustingly brutal.
Clip it.
It just sucks. No, it's just been brutal. Like, we have been so bad when it comes to our offense. Like, you're telling me Saquon Barkley gets 60 yards a game and he's averaging almost 19 touches a game. It's not the touches problem. It's just been just this stagnant offense. For us to have optimism that's going to change is kind of over my head. I'm going to have it for one more week, and I think we're going to be the Giants. But like you said, I know what we can be, and we've seen it. We really haven't seen it this year, other than little spurts and little quarters in the Rams game, a little bit earlier in the Buccaneers game, a little bit, a couple drives at Dallas when we had to answer. A key drive, like, we do it when we just need to, but you just can't. I feel like I said this every freaking year. Just like, give me a whole game, this one game. Gosh, it's so hard. It's like pulling teeth.
And you know
something.
You know what the one consistent is, though, through all those years of changing
defense.
play caller. No. There's 2 consistents, rather, which makes so it actually does make it. It's not a clear cut thing. But in terms of the offense being cohesive, we've had 2 consistents, and it's Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. We've had a varied mix of play callers. We've had a varied mix of skill positions and offensive line. But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, it has always been Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. And I've seen Jalen Hurts do it. I've seen him do it the way that we all wish to see him do it. I've seen him not do it a few times as well. I'm starting to get on your page where I'm starting to feel like it's kind of a Nick thing. But it's just so hard to know what's going on over there. I'm just getting frustrated that it's like it feels like chomping on nails trying to watch the offense figure out their issues. But I think that you're getting a little ahead of yourself in saying that it could be a blowout if they keep playing the way that they are. Because I think that our defense has been playing plenty well enough to hold this game within reach, no matter what the situation looks like. And I do think that this Eagles team, despite how bad they've looked, do a really great job of rising to the occasion and doing what it takes to win the football games. And I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh yeah, they do what it takes to win. They do what it takes to win. I know they can't do that forever, but the defense and special teams, you can't deny, have been keeping them in games. And, they're keeping them out of the end zone especially. That's a huge thing, is that they're keeping teams out of the end zone and forcing field goals mostly. So I think no matter what the team is or what's going on, I feel like this Eagles team is always going to have a way to be in the game. But it's going to be hard to see them keep pulling it out if they don't fix this offense. So with all that being said, what's your score prediction going into this week?
My score prediction is 27-20 Eagles. I do think. Well, I didn't do the flip side of the coin, which I was going to yell about the defense. Our defense actually being very good. I think we can make Bo Nix turn the ball over, and this is the guy that's relatively younger. The second year in the league, right? Gosh.
Yes,
I knew that. Thanks. With 4 interceptions on the year, I really think our secondary is the strength of our team. Cooper DeJean played great. We played a lot of base with him. He was outside. You kind of like not hit Ringo, but you didn't have to put Ringo in situations where he was made to be vulnerable, which I really loved. Our run defense just had to shut down. If we could shut down the run and make Bo Nix get in the pocket and apply pressure to him, it sounds so easy, right? Sean Payton just loves to establish the run and run play action out of it. And when you have two guys, and I'm not saying the most talented, but J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, they're both averaging 5 yards a carry. If when they establish that type of like rushing offense, it's hard to just, okay, we can actually get to Bo Nix. We have to sit back wait for the run to come to us. If we can stop the run, I don't think Bo Nix can beat our defense. I have no faith in Corin Sutton and Troy Franklin,
and Marvin Mims. Speaking of Marvin Mims, I have to get this off my chest while we're talking about it. I saw 2 mock trades for AJ Brown, which I wish any of these idiots would realize that not only do the Eagles have no desire to trade AJ Brown, it's not even feasibly possible. But anyway, aside from that, DraftKings posted AJ Brown for Stephon Diggs and a 4th round pick. Why would we do that? And the other one was Marvin Mims and a 4th round pick, which is even worse. Marvin Mims and a 4th round pick for AJ Brown. And I was like, what are we talking about? I was like, people are making it sound like we want to get rid of AJ. Nobody wants to get rid of AJ. Like we're like trying to force feed him out of Philly. Like, oh gosh, it drove me nuts reading it.
He's gonna be fine. And everyone gets this Philly media just hoard, and then you get this one post, and it just makes this like, cloud of dust in front of us. Even though what's behind the cloud of dust is the same thing, same team. It's fine. I like every fantasy owner, AJ. I'm like, just don't. Why would you trade him away for? You want to trade him for Troy Franklin? Go ahead. Yeah, he does have more yards on a season than AJ, so maybe he's a better receiver. No, he's not. I know he's not. I know he's better. I know he's not. Just show it to me, and we're gonna see on Sunday. I really hope. Anyway, I didn't get your score prediction. How do you see this game?
Sorry, I had to get into it, but my score prediction for this week I think is going to be 33-27. I think that, like I said, the Eagles are going to try to exploit the man coverage that the Denver Broncos try to run. I understand that they've got good corners, especially Patrick Surtain, but I really feel like with all the talk in the city right now and the way the offense has been stalling out, I know we say this every week, but this feels like the kind of week that they really need to get that passing game going. So and again, that man coverage thing I think is a good chance for them to do it. And on the other hand, I think that you're going to see, a kind of similar Eagles situation to what you've been seeing where they kind of allow the team to get back in the game. I think they'll start strong and then I think they're kind of going to let this team pick up some yards and inch their way back in. And I think you'll see them held to a lot of field goals, but I think you'll see them make this game close near the end of the game. So 33-27 is where I'm sticking with.
I like it. I really do.
Yeah, we will see. It's gonna be a tough one. They're definitely no slouch. I think they're easier than the first 4 teams we played. Maybe like a little bit above the level of the Cowboys, I suppose. But at least where they stand right now, not where I feel like they'll end up by the end of the year. But they've certainly got a much better defense. And with our offense playing the way it has been, it'll be interesting to see, how they handle it.
Yeah. I mean, they lost 2 games by a combined score of 4 points, and they were able to – I mean, the Bengals look horrible, but, and the Titans look horrible. So
they haven't played a lot of good
games where they are. So it really is. So
yeah.
We'll see this Sunday. I know they're going to come in here hot, even though they are traveling from West Coast over here.
Yeah.
But
it ain't going to be a cakewalk. We will see come Sunday. So make sure you guys stay tuned and come back next week as we come back with another episode reviewing the game and previewing the game after that. Who do we play after the Broncos, Sir Maslij?
We play the Giants on Thursday Night Football. So me and Matt will get to the podcast on Tuesday like we say we do.
Yeah. Yeah, apologies for that. We do try to run our podcast on as tight of a schedule as we can. We do struggle on making it work with our work schedules as well, so bear with us. But we will try to be back to you earlier in the week in these next few coming weeks. So make sure to join us back in next week talking about the review of the Broncos game and the preview of the Giants game. And if you like this video and what we talked about, make sure to like this video in the corner. And if you like the content that we do put out, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Like I just mentioned, we're back every week talking about these games. So stay tuned with us. We appreciate you guys coming to check us out. And we just like to have people along with the ride, joining us to watch our favorite team. So thank you guys as always. And hopefully we see you guys come back and join us next week for another, hopefully big win. So go Birds. We will catch you guys next week.